I'm Kaylee, and this is my mid-year check-in. I actually did a poll a few days ago asking you guys, do you want to see like a check-in with my reading goals and my reading stats? Or do you want me to do the mid-year book freakout tag? 38% of you just wanted the stats, and 56% wanted the book freakout tag, and the rest just said, you don't care. So I decided to just do both. I'm gonna start out with all my reading stats and my goal updates, then we're gonna do the mid-year book freakout tag, and then we're just gonna keep going, and I'm gonna do the calm down tag. So you get 3 videos in one with this one. Before we dive in, I'm gonna reach back here to our Booktuber Shoutout book, and we're gonna shout out somebody randomly. Today's shout out goes to Heather at Reading with a Vengeance. I will leave a link to her channel in the description. Be sure to go over and subscribe to her. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up if your reading is going pretty well so far this year. And of course, follow me over on Goodreads and Storygraph and all the places. So first we have some reading stats and some updates on how my reading goals are going for 2025. I've made it my goal every year to read 100 pages a day. So that's going really well so far. I have read 31,224 pages. Now that's including the picture books. So I've already made it 85% of the way with that pages goal. Another one of my goals is to read 200 books this year. If you include the picture books, I've already read 154 books. But if you don't include the picture books, I've read 100 books so far. So I'm either ahead on that goal or right on track with that goal, depending on if you include the picture books or not. Another goal has been to read my own books. Out of the 154 books that I've read so far this year, 67 have been review copies. So 43% of my reading so far this year has been books that I received from publishers for a review. So not great, but if you watched my empty bookshelf video, then you know why that number is so high, because I've really been working to get all of those review copies from publishers read and reviewed and get them off my shelves. One of my goals every year is to read 12 classics, and so far I have read 15 classics. I have read Evil Under the Sun, Little Girl Lost, Silver Slippers, Wild Wind, Why Not?, The Phantom of the Opera, Heart of Midlothian, The Blue Castle, The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, Fellowship of the Ring, The Wind in the Willows, Theater Shoes, Dancing Shoes, The Phoenix in the Carpet, The Weight of Glory. I usually surpass my classics reading goal every year because I really love reading classics, but I tend to keep the goal at 12 classics. It's just such a nice round number, one classic every month, but I always end up reading more than that anyway. Another goal is to read Harry Potter in Spanish. So this year so far, I have finished Goblet of Fire. I'm taking a little bit of a break from Harry Potter for now so that I can read some Jane Austen in Spanish. But as soon as Jane Austen is finished, then I'm gonna go right back to Harry Potter again and start reading Order of the Phoenix in Spanish. And I've been making some progress on my bucket list TBR. I finished Heart of Midlothian, which was on the bucket list TBR, and I finished the Renegades trilogy, and a bunch of more of those I'm still working on. I'm still working on Young Wizards series. I've read Wizards of War, and I'm planning to read the next 2 books in the series this year. And I'm right in the middle of the first book of the Magnus Chase series. I'm planning to read Trials of Apollo, and I'm wanting to read the Reawaken series by Colleen Houck. Some other series that I want to make some progress with are the Poirot series. I've already read Evil Under the Sun, and I'm planning to read Death on the Nile and Hercule Poirot's Case Book. And another series I want to make progress with is Aunt Dimity. I actually just finished a couple days ago reading Aunt Dimity and the Summer King, and I think I have one more Aunt Dimity that I'm planning to read this year. And the last goal that I've been working on for this year is my Wrapped Books Challenge. I am right on track with this challenge. There are 25 books still left to read, and there are 25 weeks left in the year. So I'm right on track to read 1 every week. Now we'll get into the mid-year book freakout tag. This was originally created by Earl Grey Books, and I will leave a link to their original video in the description. So question 1 is the best book you've read so far this year. This is so difficult to choose. I think I can narrow it down to 2 of the books that I've enjoyed the most. One of those is Sir Walter Scott's Heart of Midlothian. I just adore Sir Walter Scott, and of course this is an amazing classic. And the other one is The Perilous Guard That one just really broke my brain. It was so fabulous and I loved it so much. Question 2 is the best sequel you've read so far this year. I have to give that to Rook, which is the final book in the Jacoby series. I loved the whole Jacoby series, but somehow I loved that last book the most. Number 3 is a new release you haven't read yet, but you want to. This month I am going to be reading Giant by Judith McCoy. This is about a boy who befriends a young C.S. Lewis, so I have high hopes for that one. Number 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I think I have to give this to the 4th book in the Witchlings series. I've only read the first book in the series, and then there were books 2 and 3, and I just still have not been able to get my hands on those. And now book 4 is about to be published, and I am just like, I need the whole series. I loved the first book so much, so I'm really excited to read more in that series. Number 5 is your biggest disappointment. I'm afraid I have to give that to Solo by Grain O'Brien. I think I was really disappointed in this one because it's about a musician, and I'm a musician. So when there were things in that book that I did not like, I kind of took it personally, I guess, because I had such high expectations and I wanted to love that book so much and I wanted to love the musical themes, and then it was just so problematic and there was so much objectionable content and I just hated it so much on so many levels. That was a big disappointment. Number 6 is the biggest surprise. I have to give this to the Phantom of the Opera. It is so different from the musical, the movie, whatever plays you may have seen. And I can definitely understand there are some places in the story where I can understand why they cut it out or they changed it or they left out that character. It was just, I knew it was going to be different from the musical, but it was just so different. It was quite a surprise. It was definitely interesting. Number 7 is your favorite new author, either a debut author or a new to you author. So this is a new to me author, Temple Bailey. I have read Silver Slippers and Wild Wind and Little Girl Lost all in 2025. I have completely fallen in love with Temple Bailey. These books are from like the 1920s and 30s, and they are absolutely full of old-fashioned charm. Number 8 is your newest fictional crush, and I have to give that to Giles from Silver Slippers. He is just such a courageous and honest hero. I absolutely fell in love with him. And he owns a bookshop, so that's the real reason why I fell in love with him, is because he owns a bookshop. Number 9 is your newest favorite character. For this I chose Miss Rook from the Jacoby series. So Miss Rook is assisting Jacoby, who is a paranormal detective, and they fight off monsters and gremlins and all kind of fun stuff. Miss Rook is just so thoughtful and so spunky, and I just fell in love with her immediately. She's such a great main character. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. For this I have to say Mark of Athena and House of Hades and Blood of Olympus. The last 3 books in the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan just tear my heart out every time. Especially the last book, I was pretty much hysterical. I was laughing and crying and laughing while I was crying. It was just a very emotional time. I don't know what it is about those last 3 books in the series in particular, just have so many emotional moments. Number 11 is a book that made you happy. I'm gonna say Aunt Dimity and the Summer King. I actually read this just a few days ago, right after my disappointment with Solo, and I just wanted something sweet and cozy and fun, and this book gave me exactly what I needed. Number 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. I did a whole video of my manga book haul when I spent way too much money on manga, but no regrets because they are beautiful. I bought the entire series of Fruits Basket, and I bought a beautiful box set of Ouran High School Host Club, and I don't care how much money it was because they are gorgeous. Number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I've kind of talked about this a little bit already. I want to read Magnus Chase. I want to read all of Trials of Apollo. I'm going to be reading all 4 books of the Reawakened series by Colleen Houck, and I have 2 more books in the Young Wizard series. I also want to start reading the Dragon Spell or Dragon Keeper series. There are 5 books in this series by Danita K. Paul, and I'm really hoping to get all of them read by the end of the year. I also want to read all of Fruits Basket for the 30 books in 30 days in September. I have a George MacDonald book that I'm planning to read for Booktober, and I have a book about highly sensitive people that I want to read for Nonfiction November. So lots of great reading coming up for the rest of the year. Now we get into the mid-year calm down book tag. After we've all freaked out, it's time to calm down. This tag was created by Leandra the TBR Zero, and I will leave a link to their channel in the description. Number 1 is Thankfulness, what 2025 has given me so far. I think I have to say that I'm thankful for Wizards at War. This book is so introspective and philosophical, and I really love the positive moral messages in this one. It actually kind of made me think about my life in a different way and like how I interact with people, because seeing how the characters interact with one another in a very thoughtful and compassionate way made me think, you know what, I could stand to be a little more thoughtful, a little more compassionate with the people around me. And it just made me really grateful and really thankful for my life. Number 2 is Relaxation, the most relaxing book. So I reread all 4 books in the Enchanted Forest Chronicles by Patricia C. Reed. I've read these, I think, twice before, and so it was really lovely to go back and revisit one of my favorites. It was just so relaxing to be able to enjoy this lovely dragon fantasy adventure. Number 3 is Hydration, a book that I needed. I think I'm going to say for this one, On the Shoulders of Hobbits. This is an exploration of virtue and vice in The Lord of the Rings and the Chronicles of Narnia. The reason I say that I needed this book is it just really inspired me to be strong in my faith, to live a peaceful, virtuous life. It's just such a hopeful, inspirational book, and I really loved it. Number 4 is Nourishment, a book that energized me. For this one, I'm going to say, why not? This is about a girl who just kind of dares to dream that her life could be different, and whenever circumstances come up in life, she just says, why not? We could try it. Maybe it'll work out. And she just does all these bizarre things, just totally bizarre. And somehow it all just kind of works out. It's just hilarious from start to finish. It filled me with all this delightful, just bubbling joy. Absolutely hilarious. I loved it. Then we have Familiarity, an author I've returned to. For this one, of course, I have to say Lord of the Rings. I've been listening to the audiobook narrated by Andy Serkis, and I absolutely love it. I only have about an hour and 30 minutes left to listen to in The Two Towers, and then I'm going to dive right into Return of the King. I always enjoy going back and reading some Tolkien. Number 6 is A Health Risk, a book that's outside your comfort zone or that's a new to you author. For this one, I choose Around the World in 100 Days. This is the story of Phileas Fogg's son who tries to drive a motor car around the world in 100 days. So this is a new to me author. It was a really fun adventure, and it was kind of fun to see like a sequel to a beloved classic. Number 7 is Reflection, Changes in My Reading Taste. I think for this one, I'm going to say The Morning Gift. This is a romance, and I feel like when I was younger, I would have just been swept away in the romantic things, and I would not have minded so much the problematic things and the objectionable content. But now that I'm older, I kind of go, no, that's not romantic. That's toxic behavior. So I guess now that I'm a little bit older and wiser, I'm better at recognizing that guy is not romantic. That guy is a bully. So yeah, I did not enjoy The Morning Gift. Sorry. Nope. Number 8 is A Detox, a book or habit that you're leaving behind. So for this one, I chose The Warrior Heir. I read the first book. I liked it okay. I think I gave it 3 stars, but I am not continuing with the rest of the trilogy. The first book mostly wraps up the story, and so there's not a big cliffhanger where I feel like I need to continue. Number 9 is Positivity, anticipated book or event. For this one, I'm going to say the new box set of Sailor Moon that has volumes 7 through 12. I've already had my eye on the box set of Sailor Moon that is volumes 1 through 6. And so now the next box set is going to be coming out with the rest of the volumes. And I'm just like, do I spend the money? I don't know. I already spent a bunch of money on manga just a couple months ago. I do not need to be spending more money. But, maybe we could save up some money and see what we can do with the budget. And number 10 is looking ahead, personal plans and goals. And of course, I've already talked about my reading goals. Leave me a comment and let me know, what would you answer for some of these questions? How is your reading going so far for 2025? And what are your plans for the rest of the year? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.